Welcome, everyone, to the podcast. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me and, being willing to adventure into whatever comes through, whether it's interviews, insights, channelings, and all of that. I'm very excited today to talk about the topic, which is the drones, which a lot of people have been asking questions on, and interdimensionals. Now, it's interesting because these two things came up in questions in different courses or things I've been doing. And Spirit was like, we'll channel that information. And then when I asked more about the drones, they're like, we'll channel that information. And I did bring through a lot of this in Cosmic Consciousness just recently, as well as on the last Thursday reading, the card reading, the galactic one. I did bring through some insights on that. But Spirit said they would be willing to channel, like bring more direct info. And so it just requires me to go in a little bit deeper. I could feel the energy really growing and whirling around me this morning. And so they were like, just hit play, just hit play. So I'm just going to take a moment and tune in really quickly, a little bit deeper. And then we're going to see what they have to share. I don't know if they're going to start with the concept of interdimensionals or if they're going to start with the concept of the drones or if it's all connected or it's not. I don't know. This is completely in the hands of my spirit guides. And we're just going to see what happens. So I'm just going to close my eyes for a few moments and go from there. So just hold on. Okay, so this is actually really interesting. The three guides of the light are going to come through and channel. However, I am connected into one of my main council guides. He goes by the name of Shaham. Shaham is what I say, but really, when he speaks it, it's more like Shaham, right? That's his name, but I kind of just say Shaham. Um, and he's an Arcturian guide. And what's really interesting too, actually, Lisa Richmond just recently channeled about the Arcturians as well. There's a big presence of them right now. Shaham is really a big part of my council, and my council is made up of many different types of guides and beings. But what he's wanting to say is, first of all, he's wanting to say that there is a bigger presence of the Galactic Federation than people realize. And one thing that's really significant is the fear narratives running rampant around the drones is creating an energy of density. And he's saying it's really important to dismantle your hearts from this energy of density because that will bring your consciousness down. So getting caught up in a big whirl, and it's not being caught up in the excitement, that's different. He's talking about being caught up in the fear narratives that are coming from it, because we either have a fear narrative or there is a conflict narrative, there's a confusion narrative, there's a savior narrative. And in essence, it's not any of them, is what he's showing me. He's like, the biggest thing that a lot of people need to shift their perspective of on the planet is for those that find themselves in a bit of a lower density, maybe more rooted in 3D, often will fall into fear and then connecting to the savior, wanting to be saved. Maybe these orbs are here to save us. And he's saying what makes for like more significant transformation is actually our own transformation into recognizing the savior within self. Doesn't mean we can't have help, but it's the savior within self. He's like, you are, meaning you humans, are your own saviors. It is your consciousness that allows you to transform. And he's saying, go deep into your consciousness and deep into your hearts to find the rooting where you will not be he's saying dismayed and swayed. He's saying this rooting is really important because it allows us to see through the haze of the fear and the confusion and the savior narratives happening. He said with the Galactic Federation's presence, there is very much this top-down energy like I talked about in Cosmic Consciousness. There is a higher collective presence, a higher consciousness presence. And that is really connected into the orb energy. It's a much higher consciousness, but there is so much confusion coming from the ground level up that the ground level up, so from humans or those that wish to manipulate what's going on or confuse the narrative, this confusion is creating this whirl into fear or saviorism, if we could create an ism out of that. So he's saying really anchor in your heart space as the most important thing to do right now. He's like, and let the chips fall as they may. Because he's saying, this is interesting, what humans and those that are a part of the manipulation from the ground up, what they don't realize is with their attempts to confuse the narrative or to create something more out of it, they're actually laying out their faults. They're laying out their lies. They're laying out their cards, right? Like if they had a poker hand, they're actually laying their cards out by trying to confuse it, trying to kind of dismiss it or play it soft. Because he's saying, first of all, if they really didn't know what was going on, they would not be so calm about it. Number two, he said, there's also within the knowing of what's going on, there is also a hesitancy and it's interesting because he said a new world order. And I was like, I don't know if you want to use that phrase because it has such a significant connotation on our planet. And he's saying, okay, a new world energetic reaction that they don't quite understand what it is, meaning with the presence of the orbs and the way in which they are, those that are in positions of power don't actually know what to do with it. It's something new. And this is that higher drop down energy consciousness that's coming. They don't know how to deal with it. So there's this kind of almost freeze state. And so he's saying, when I say let the chips fall as they may, it's like, sit back and watch this unfold, because if you sit back and you watch, you will be very clear of mind in what is actually happening. Now, he's referencing galactic technology, and he's saying the orb energies are of galactic technology. He's saying that is why they don't fit the understandings of physics in your world. The drones, like I said before, he's confirming again, the drones are very much human origin. They are reverse engineered from different ET craft, ET technology, which is what makes them look a bit more space-like, but they are human made. They are noisier. It is the orb-like energy, and even some of the ET craft, because there's different ones up there. The ET craft can move through time and space completely differently. So that's how you can tell when it's ET craft. It can speed up exponentially fast, stop, drop, disappear. It moves through time and space completely different. The orb technology as well, some people are calling them plasmoids. I actually think that's a really neat way to explain it because it's a completely different structure. I see. And this is where he's saying it kind of blends into the concept of interdimensionals. Very cool. The reason why he's saying this is within interdimensional space, so between dimensions, is where we can find a lot of different species that live in that interdimension area, different races of beings, but they are not usually embodied. Although spaceships and such can also hide interdimensionally. Once you know how to kind of crack that code to get in between, you can get in there. It has to do with frequencies. But within that space there also, if we call it a space, there are different types of beings, and they're often called plasmoids. I don't get that it's necessarily a plasmoid being that is the orb, but I get that the orb is a extremely sentient plasmoid-like ship. So you could go in it. Somehow you could go into it. There's a consciousness to that ship. And a lot of ET craft, from what I've been taught from different ET guides of mine, plus a lot of information on this planet too, is there is a sentience to their technology. And so like, we're just starting to tap into this on our planet, but you can place your hand on a console and it will connect in with the neural nature of your mind. But the ship itself also has a capacity to essentially fix or heal itself also. It has a sentience to it. And you could say it's sort of like a sentient AI, and that would be one level of ships that they have. The plasmoid ones, though, and I'll reference it as that, those are different. That is a different type of sentience based on a non-physical need. It is light energy in a sense, more like a light body. And these are coming from interdimensional space. So between dimensions, right? We've got third dimension, fourth dimension, fifth dimension. Within those spaces, though, those frequency points, if you realize that the whole universe is based on fractals, right? Fractals where they go deeper and deeper. If you don't know what a fractal is, it's like when you look at a picture and you can continue to zoom into that picture. And if you zoom into the tiny window and you open it, the tiny window has an entire garden, and then you can zoom into a flower, and that flower has an entire world. It's these fractals that keep going, and the universe is made up of these fractals. So the space between two dimensions is an interdimensional space that is limitless in its space, right? It's really mind-bending for our human minds, but it transcends, like Shaham is saying, the understandings of physics in our world. And so these plasmoids are able to kind of come into our reality and out of our reality. And he's saying the plasmoids actually interact in our reality and give off more light than they would in their reality, in that interdimensional space. And that is because it is interacting with the density of our reality. And the reason why it's interacting with the density of our reality, he's saying, is because that's really interesting. It needs to be made real to the eyes of humans within our frequency. So the way that we are seeing these plasmoid orbs is different than what they would actually look like if we could see it at the frequency in terms of what they are. And that would be like, this is so interesting. He's showing me, he's like, you can compare it to a camera. And if you were to take a picture back in the olden days, it would be quite grainy. That was the best technology they had. But now we have super crisp, high def images, right? We have the capacity to see these high definition images, whereas back in the day, that was the best you could do. So these plasmoids right now are sort of showing themselves in our density, like those grainy pictures. Whereas if we could see it in their reality, we would see the high definition version of it. We don't have the capacity to see that yet. And we don't have the energetics to be too close to it yet either, because the frequency it gives off is so big and bold that, I mean, you wouldn't be able to get too close to it. That's really interesting. Okay, let me see what else he wants to say. So I was just asking him, are these from the angelic realm? Are these angels? Some people are saying they're angels. He's saying they are high frequency, like that of what we would consider the angelic realm. So he's saying even the angelic realm, as you understand it, is different than what has been made real on your planet. He's saying it's a realm in which the language that we have and the understandings that we have can't quite explain it. And so to that, I would say they are very, very high frequency. He says they are higher than what they have within the Galactic Federation as is. So like the level that he's at, he's saying they would have a more of the technology of ET ships that are sentient, that, can move here and there, but could also technically land here, right? And be solid. These ones are that higher frequency, much higher level. I'm just asking him another question here. Hold on. He's saying now is an opportunity to actually see this as a beautiful leap in consciousness and a beautiful leap within humanity. He's saying there will be those that will try to explain it away within the science of our understanding. And he said that is not relevant. It merely scratches the surface. He's saying it's just the same as how you describe a rainbow as being 7 colors, but it actually isn't. There's a multitude of colors in that rainbow, but you see 7. It is quite primary. And he doesn't mean that in a rude way, but it's just kind of how it is. And he's saying we are bringing, so they're all working in connection, like the Galactic Federation and this higher frequency interdimensional energy. They're working in connection, one, like all together, because we have been moving into this galactic level of consciousness that I've been talking about a lot. And within this galactic level of consciousness, it brings the intergalactic federation in closer, and other galaxies are now a part of what's happening here. Like our connection into space has gotten way bigger now because humans are at such a critical transformation point. And he's saying, so what seems completely out of mind to all of you is actually you tapping into or becoming a fish that swims in the ocean versus a fish tank. Okay, I'm just going to see if the three guides of the light have anything to say here. Hold on. Okay, this one's going to come through in a channel, in a proper channel. So just hold on one sec. We are the three guides of the light, and we are grateful to be able to come through and share our insights at this time. We are very excited to see the growth of humanity and how it has been growing and blossoming like a rose. This rose represents the beautiful divine consciousness within each of you. As the rose opens, it is able to bring in more light into its petals, to shine more brightly and have richer, deeper colors expressed in its reality. This is what is happening to each and every one of you, and as so, your planet Earth is beginning to blossom like this beautiful rose. This invites more of those in the cosmos to come near and connect in with you in many different ways. Do not fear the orbs that you are seeing, and do not listen to the narratives of it being something negative. This is not true. This is consciousness. This is experiencing the shift and the transformation of consciousness on your planet, where you move from one reality where you cannot step back. Once you move forward, which you have, you cannot step back. You cannot unsee what it is you have been seeing. You cannot resist the shift into this new reality. You must simply embrace and allow your hearts to be open-minded to embrace new ideas, technologies, and understandings. Your bodies have been made ready for this so that you can anchor in this light. Your minds have been awakened over the last 4 years so that you would be ready for these moments now. These moments will continue to happen on your planet. You will continue to grow and break down barriers and understand more things. Your reach in space will become much more open-minded, much more bold. You will realize the value of energy, the way in which energy can help transport you to different places at different times, past, present, or future, even parallel. These are concepts that used to once only be myth to you, but now they are becoming your reality. For your understanding that the laws of physics can be bent and shifted based on perspective. Perspective is always the key. Now that you are standing in your true resonance, you can open your perspective to many different modalities from many different angles. This is why we're very excited. Humanity is moving in the right direction. Keep anchoring your soul energy into your truth, and the rest will follow. Observe the skies with an open heart. Stay free of fear narratives and move forward. Trust in your resonance. Wow, amazing. All right. So with that, wow, there's lots to ponder in there, a lot to ponder. I'm going to have to go back and listen to this too, because there was a lot of neat information coming through that I didn't fully, I definitely didn't expect. The connection to the interdimensionals within this, that interdimensional realm. And it's something I would like to explore more and do a deeper dive into trying to understand it more. What else can we learn about this interdimensional world? How we're bridging into that, how the world of galactics and spirit is going to cross over significantly. There's going to be a meshing of that, and we're going to realize that some of the things we consider spirit are not actually spirit. They are galactic, but they are, astral projections of different beings and our guides. And the more that we can just completely shake off fear the more we're going to sit in this energy of growth and ascension. And this is going to be so fantastic. So I hope you feel inspired and pretty excited by that. Again, use your discernment and use the energy of the holiday season um, to bring your energy up and stay in that. Stay in the energy of love. Don't be in the energy of fear as much as possible because it's helping to transform the planet. And that's what they were saying. And it's fantastic. And tune into the portal of your heart, Shaham is saying, for in that portal of your heart, you will find the truths. And so if you're gazing up at the sky and you see these orbs, um, tune into your heart energy with that and see what you feel. And the drones are a man-made thing. So we don't need to fear the drones at all. In fact, we don't need to fear this experience. We need to observe and watch it unfold as we step into this new reality of consciousness. So I will leave that with all of you. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me. I wish you a beautiful holiday season, and I look forward to connecting with all of you again. Thanks, and have a good one.